Welcome to the NTU Postgraduate Podcast, which is a series of conversations on everything you need to know as a postgraduate student. And today we're talking finance, funding, and all the things you need to know about making your money go a little bit further as a postgrad student. And I'm Matt. I am currently a master's student studying documentary journalism here, and I'm joined today by my two guests. Do you want to introduce yourselves and give a bit of background?
So I'm Heidi and I'm doing MA Education. I did my undergraduate here and did primary education, and I've chosen to stay on.
Hello, I'm David May and I am the Student Financial Advice Service Coordinator. So my team and I, we're responsible for all things money.
Would it be fair to say that you're the Martin Lewis of NTU then?
That's been said a few times, but yeah, I think it's probably a fair appraisal.
The first thing we got here is a bit of a challenge for you, David, which is in 10 seconds or less is what I've got written here, which seems ambitious.
Very.
To describe the main differences between undergraduate and postgraduate funding.
Okay, I'm going to do this for Student Finance England because with postgraduate funding, there are different funding packages for different parts of the UK, so we're going to concentrate on England if that's okay. Postgrads get one loan, it's sent to them directly, and it's up to the student to then pay the university their tuition fees. That loan will last the duration of their studies. There's no household income assessment. You can borrow up to the full amount, and the repayment details are different, and there's more on that later.
Okay, I think that was pretty close to 10 seconds.
I'm glad.
Yeah, good work. So when you say paid directly to the university, could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
The postgrad loan is paid directly to the student. So you get one loan, and that needs to then be considered for both course costs and any other costs. So that could include living costs. There may well be other costs associated with the course, so materials, if you're doing art and design, for example. So for students doing a postgrad course to become fully enrolled, they do need to set up a payment arrangement as part of the enrolment process, and you do that online. But it's really important to bear in mind, unlike undergrads, there's no separate maintenance loan. It's just one loan, and it's all on the student to then divvy that up how they see fit, as it were.
So could they partially use it to pay for their fees and spend the rest on other?
Absolutely. So postgrad courses are very different to undergrad in the sense that the amount of fees for courses can differ. So when you're looking at the different courses available, do make a note of how much that course is. So they're not all £9,250 like undergrad courses. That's quite an important point. And you may find that with the loan that you get, there may be some money left over once you've paid for your course, which you could then use to pay for things like accommodation or other course costs or general living costs.
So at what point can you apply for that loan?
Yeah, typically applications open in the summer months, so usually around May, June time for Student Finance England.
And the less fun side of things, at what point do you have to start repaying that loan?
For most students, it's once you've finished your course, and repayment would commence at the earliest, the April afterwards. Students will start to pay once you're earning over £21,000 a year, and you pay 6% of any earnings over that amount, so 21,000 or whatever the monthly amount might be. If you're not earning that amount, then you don't need to make any payment. So payment will only be taken once you're actually hitting that threshold. And for most people, it's taken straight from your pay packet, a bit like tax. If you go self-employed, then you would need to make alternative arrangements with the student loans company.
And just to be clear on this, because I think when I started working, I wasn't entirely sure on how the whole tax system worked. When you say anything over 21,000, so say you're earning 22,000, it's 6% of that £1,000.
You've got
right?
it in one, absolutely,
Okay.
yes. So it's gross taxable income.
So I hear with postgraduate, there's a few different ways of saving a bit of money on those fees. Which of those methods have you used, Heidi?
So I've actually used the scholarship and the alumni discount. So with the alumni discount, that came straight off of my funding. I didn't have to ask for that. I didn't have to do anything to get that. That's just automatically applied to me. But I did my undergraduate here, so you have to have studied undergraduate here to be able to qualify for that. And that was 20% of my course fees as a reduction. So that was helpful. And then I got the scholarship, which I applied for via the website. I was quite close to the deadline, but I saw on the social media that it was close, and I thought, what have I got to lose? Mine was for 25% of my course reduction fee, so that actually really helped me out because I've had to fund it myself. There's just a few questions to answer, and it's quite professional, but just make sure you get everything down in detail, and obviously it's taken into consideration.
So it sounds like that's a pretty efficient, easy way of knocking a hefty amount off your fees there. And we've talked about a lot of different ways of getting funding here. The last one, could you tell us anything about trusts and funds that or charities?
Absolutely. So there are charities and trust funds out there that will provide grants to students on an individual basis. So it's not specific courses usually. It might be due to your own personal circumstances. So for example, if you have a health condition or a disability, there may be extra funding that you can get from a charity or a trust to support you. Or it could be geographical, or that your parents have worked in a certain area of industry. So my parents were both in the Royal Air Force, and they certainly provide funding for HE study for individuals. So the best place to look is online or in your local lending libraries. The grants register is a good place to start. But we can certainly provide guidance to students that are looking to tap into all of these little pockets of funding. Come along and have an appointment with one of our team. We'll be able to help you find these pockets and really maximise your income.
So who would be able to come along and have that conversation with you? Is it someone who's applied here or someone who's just looking?
Anybody. So you don't have to have an offer of a place. If you're just thinking about moving into postgrad study and you want to know if it's going to work for you, you can have an appointment. We do them in person or over Microsoft Teams or telephone, so you don't even need to be local to Nottingham to come and have a chat with us.
Great. So literally anyone watching this
is more than welcome to come and have an appointment. Absolutely.
Well, once you've secured your funding and you're actually on the course, then we kind of get on to the managing your money once you're actually doing it. It feels like I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, Heidi. But how do you find doing that as a postgraduate student?
See, because I've had my course reduced, it has really benefited me. But because I'm doing it part-time, I'm able to work at the same time. So because I'm a qualified primary school teacher, I'm actually doing supply teaching, so going into different schools and earning money that way. It's actually really beneficial because I get paid weekly. So the money is pretty constant as long as I take the work or there is work available. So I think the best advice is definitely manage your time really well, because yes, it's great having a job and having all the money, but then if your studies fall behind, what are you earning the money for?
Of course. Yeah, there's a real balance to be had there. And talking of balance, we were going to have a bit of a comparison, I think, of how much do you reckon that you spend in your average week as a postgrad?
How much do you think I pay?
How much do I think you pay a week?
Spend?
Well, that feels judgmental now. You seem very fiscally responsible to me. I don't know.
It's now the end of the month. My car's just come out, and I've just bought some clothes for holiday, so I'll add that one in there.
A week, and we're including bills and fees and everything in there.
Well, my fees come out termly, so that's more difficult. So it's sort of saving up till the beginning of the term and then sending the money off. So it is through direct debit to the university. So that is helpful that once that money's gone, I know I've spent the money that I needed to on the course. After that is sort of the money that I can spend on what I want to. So
okay, 300 quid.
Yeah, that's roughly.
Oh,
no,
right.
That's quite roughly right. In the last week, because
we didn't prepare that. I just got that.
Yeah, that's on a balance. Like, obviously, different weeks will be different amounts. But last week I went out socialising with friends both days at the weekend. I've paid for my car, so that was quite a lot last week. But on average, probably about £300.
And how careful are you about it? Are you someone who's sitting there with a spreadsheet and you know exactly what you need for the rest of the year and how much is coming in, or are you generally know how to be sensible?
Yes, I am generally sensible with money. I've always liked to save, so as soon as I get the money come in, I do put it into savings or save it ready to pay for my course. I mean, my course is now finished paying for because we're nearly at the end of the year. So that money that I earn now is pretty much for me. So
Phew, that's a bit of a relief, isn't
it
it?
is nice that I have now finished paying.
Yeah. And was there a big difference between your mentality around that as an undergraduate and as a postgraduate?
Yes, definitely, especially if your maintenance loan isn't enough. But now I feel like I have got to a position where I'm a bit more steady with money. So that's really helped.
And was your undergrad full-time?
Yes.
So is there
For 4 years.
Oh, okay, right. So was there a big shift there in, how you use your money and your time now that you're part-time studying?
Yes, definitely. Obviously, earning money is helpful because you're then gaining the money that you are spending, if that makes more sense. Whereas before, I didn't have... I did have jobs, but not enough to cover everything. So I've had jobs in just in university holidays. I've had a uni temps job at university, earning the money here as a student ambassador. So I have always worked through my undergraduate, but I feel like now I'm at a point where I am getting more and more money based on I am actually qualified for something.
So those jobs that you had when you were doing your undergrad and now doing your postgrad, is that through an agency at the uni, or how does that work?
So I did actually get one of my jobs through the university, and it's through a company called Uni Temps, and I've been a student ambassador now. I did it all the way through my undergraduate degree, and I've now done it postgraduate as well, and that's just an opportunity to work for the university, with the university, and gain some extra money, which was really helpful.
And presumably, as it's the uni, they're pretty flexible with your lectures and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, you pretty much choose when you want to work. So they do open days, which are usually at weekends where you know you're not going to have lectures then, but you might have family commitments or you might be going home, which is understandable. But yes, they're really flexible and you can choose when you want to work.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of different ways that you can get your funding, you can get some money off that funding, and you can maintain your own finances while you're studying your postgraduate course. I think the last things to say are there is support available at the uni. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, David?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Student Money team, we're a team of about 12. We provide advice and guidance on all areas of money. So income maximisation, some students might be entitled to benefits. We can help with that. Student finance, we are the experts. We can provide information about the application process. We can help you appeal if the assessment is wrong. And we can also help you draw up a financial statement and get into the habit of budgeting, not only for your time here at NTU, but also to give you those skills that you can use once you move on from your course and you progress into the world of work.
Lovely. Well, thank you both for joining me
Thanks
on
for
this
having us.
NTU Postgraduate Podcast. And if you want to find out any more information, have a look at the NTU website. If you're watching this, you're probably already there. So join us again next time.